This is William Wagener. On second thought, it's January 10th, 2007. I'm on a phone call with Ed, New Hampshire. And Ed, do you give me permission to record this?
I do.
Ed, tell me what year your battle with the IRS started and how it got to the kangaroo trial situation you're in now, and why you're refusing to go to court, specifically what you believe is going to happen.
I'm asking the court, the IRS to show us the law as to the fact that Edward and Lane Brown owe the income tax that they claim. They refused over the 12 years to do that, so they then in turn invaded the office, stole the paperwork from the office with 28 agents, snipers, and so on. And then for that action, we then filed suit against them, against the agents in their own capacity that were leaders for about 5 or 6 months later. Then in retaliation to that, they dismissed that case because it was sent from the state court that we submitted it to the federal court, which was unlawful. Once in the federal hands by Stephen McAuliffe and others, U.S. Attorney Assistant Moody Morse, they then denied the case by Judge McAuliffe. Then they filed charges against us, the Browns, about 6-7 months later. They did that for 6 months. We've been working with, we put in a total of 42 plus motions, and the judge denied all of the motions, literally. Then he eliminated all of our testimony and all of our evidence. This is all done on record. They must find the Browns guilty as charged as I instruct you to do so. You can't say that.
Well, Ed, that certainly sounds like a kangaroo trial to me. It sounds very much like what they did to Irwin Schiff, who I interviewed 3 times.
And the judge says that he decides the law, they decide the fact. But when we presented the fact, he would deny the fact. Every time we opened our mouth to give the fact, he would deny it, calling it frivolous. Before they came in and were seated, after they were qualified, in a room, a meeting, they were told that the judge himself decides all these cases of fact and law, and that all people in this country are taxpayers. Everyone's a taxpayer, he said. That's not true. So then when the jury, he gave us the booklet Thursday night, after 3 days from the trial. In the booklet, he said that the jury must find us guilty before we even presented our witnesses and our evidence. He made that statement that we must find, it was in the book that we were supposed to refute, clean up and stuff, but he made that statement of, you must, as a jury, find the defendants guilty based on the law that I prescribed. When we went home, we decided we weren't going back in. I have not ever since.
What day that was you decided you were not going back in, and what day that was he said that?
Be last Thursday. I don't know what the date is.
Okay, and when did the trial start, Ed?
3 days prior to last Tuesday.
Now this is a federal judge, and his name is what?
Stephen McAuliffe. Krista McAuliffe that died in the space shuttle, her husband.
Was he a judge when she died in the space shuttle?
No, I don't think so.
Are you going in pro per, or do you have an attorney on this case?
You can't have an attorney to rep you. You got to present yourself. You're already there. Why would you use an attorney to represent you into something else?
I agree. It does not seem that you can get justice in any of these federal courts. Pay raises, when Congress gets their automatic pay raises, and they changed that law about 15, 20 years ago, the judges in the federal level completely became employees of the government and their taxing mechanisms and are no longer independent judiciary. Would you agree with that?
Yep, that's absolutely true.
So you're going to stay in your house. They're going to try to take you out tomorrow with the SWAT team to drag you into court, I suspect. Is that what you suspect?
I don't know, but I don't think I would not advise them to do that.
And you're going to resist with the maximum effort you can if they attempt to take you by force. Is that true?
That's correct. Do, no matter who comes, police or anybody else, breaking the law.
The law tells you must do that. The law tells you must do that. Is that what you're saying?
To adhere is a jurisdictional issue. There is no federal jurisdiction in the state. So why are they here? What are they doing? Federal district doesn't take up the whole state of New Hampshire. It only takes up the courthouse and a few other buildings. But this particular courthouse was never ceded. The land was never ceded to the federal government. And then the Congress never accepted. So the judges proceeding in these courtroom on all these as a bogus judge. Also, we find out that the judge of that court is conducting business in Dun and Bradstreet.
That's an interesting statement.
Well, there it is. Punch it in. You'll see it to be true. Supreme Court of the United States of America are conducting business in the state of New Hampshire and every other state. So filed on record with Dun and Bradstreet.
I've never heard that. That's an interesting tidbit of information. I'll have to check on that.
Yeah, you'll see it. You'll love it.
Now, Ed, you said when I first called you here, you've just gone to bed. You've been up for 18 hours. Is that right?
That's correct.
What have you been doing those 18 hours?
Well, in Massachusetts, out of state even. So I've just been working on the house and keeping things clean and keeping a normal life as much as I can in the meantime.
Practicing dentist in the state of New Hampshire? Or your wife is?
Correct. This was effectively shut down yesterday because she's not there, no work, no money, so there's no sense in keeping it open.
So they basically have shut you down by the proceedings so that you can't even make an income.
That's correct.
If they try to...
Income is defined by the Internal Revenue Service as a corporate tax activity, or activity tax. We're not a corporation.
Well, as I read it, I thought it's a income tax liability only accrues on a profit from a corporate source. Is that right?
Correct. We're not a corporation or a corporate source. Enterprise. Got nothing to do with a corporation. Free enterprise system, right? Private soil. I think they have jurisdiction over that. They don't.
It's a kangaroo trial. Would you agree?
Correct. There is one of many, many reasons. Good. I appreciate it.
A lot of people show up with camcorders.
We agree, and we hope the same thing.
I'm heartened by the thoughts that the people that crucified Jesus Christ also thought they were doing the right thing until, the curtain split down the middle and the earthquake hit.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? Huh?
So I thank you for this interview, Ed, and I'll let you get back to sleep.
Hey, live free or die.
Are you very far from the Valley Street Jail, the infamous Valley Street Jail?
I don't know what that is.
That's a Hillsborough's correctional...
That's an hour and 15 minutes from me.
Yeah, there was a man named Brian Armstrong who was murdered there by the jailers in the jail, witnessed by a man named Bob Berg.
Surprised me.
And even the state New Hampshire coroner, the state coroner, ruled it a homicide, and the state attorney general, to this date, 7 years later, almost exactly to the day today, no one has been indicted. Not one of those jailers has been fired, and they just continue on their normal course.
It's typical. I mean, typical, over and over again. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's the view.
You're welcome, Ed. Thank you very much, and I hope you get a good night's sleep.
Night.
Good night. Good night.